What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quickie. Alright, guys, what's up? It's another quickie, another late quickie for us, but it's been another great day of NBA games. I think we had 11 games. Am I correct?
Yes,
Kamish?
11 games today. 11 games.
11 games today, so let's get it going with our quickie. Storylines for today. Okay, let's start with this to get it out of the way and throw out the negative vibes. JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oy, good news, guys. He got vaccinated, so he won't be infected with COVID when he comes back. He's gonna give all the owners 100% of his effort,
Yes.
passion.
And another good news is that there seems to be a timetable already
Yes, good
for
news.
when he will get back.
Yes, good news.
Now,
We're so happy.
of course, you will probably be asking when is that timetable?
Soon. The end of April. Which is
My goodness.
which is just, well, it's already the end of March. So
That's
guys,
5 weeks away, 4 weeks away.
4 weeks away.
He will play just in time for your fantasy playoffs, guys. So
And
I am sure.
win the season for you.
Yes, so
Win the consolation round for you guys. Because if you're still holding on to Jaren Jackson, you're probably gonna be in the consolation round.
but let's talk serious fantasy here. If you own Jaren Jackson, right? If you own Jaren Jackson now and he is in your IL.
Yeah.
Do you should hold, right?
If you don't have any other injured players, then of course you should hold. But if you have a lot of injured players, I'll drop him. I'll just put
Okay,
somebody else.
if you have an injured player,
Yeah.
and you have he is in your IL. Let's say Jaren Jackson is in your IL. There's another player in the waiver wire who's also an IL eligible player.
Mm-hmm.
Would you replace JJJ with that player? Let's say I'll give some names. I'll throw out some names. Tristan Thompson.
No. no. No.
Let's see, what are the names? Cole Anthony.
Yeah, that one that's 50-50. Cole Anthony for Jaren Jackson.
Okay,
The problem
let's-
with Cole Anthony is he might also take a long time to come back. So no. The report is he's still far away. So pass.
all right. Darius Baisley.
Pass. I
Let's
don't
see
even
who
think
else are
I
here.
don't even think Paisley will come back this year.
All right. So there's there. George Hill.
George Hill. Well, that's a problem. George Hill. I don't think his upside is high enough for me to stash him. I'll just stash Jaren Jackson. The
Okay,
thing
so
is, he's coming back at the end of April. Yeah, Jeremy's correct. Maybe week 18, 17, 18.
Yep.
But if you're gonna stash a George Hill, even if he plays early on, it's not gonna help you. I mean, it's not gonna be a game changer. So I'll just hold on to Jaren Jackson.
Okay. One last. I'll just check the
Give me a good one. Somebody.
Bobby Portis.
No.
I just got those that are in my IL on a 14 team league, so I'm pretty sure.
Maybe Kevin Porter Jr. is in the
But-
IL.
For 14 team leagues, I doubt he's in the IL. I think for 10, maybe he is there, but for 12 to 14, I doubt he would be there.
Okay.
So just looking at that, maybe those are the options. No. Hamidou Diallo already played today.
Yes.
So he is out of the IL. So, all right. Well, that's the dilemma on JJJ, I think. If you have an IL, keep holding on, like they said.
Just hold on, guys. You can do it.
All right, guys. Let's move on to, now that we're over that, let's move on to some good news. Nurkic played today 19 minutes, 8 points, 8 rebounds. I think he
steal.
had a block and a steal.
Two blocks and a
Two
steal
blocks and a steal. So
in 19 minutes. Although in typical,
though he had four, I think he
Yeah.
had 4 turnovers. So
in typical Nurkic fashion, he had 4 turnovers. But I'll take the stat line. I'm
Well,
happy with the performance.
if you think about it, 8 and 8 in 19 minutes is actually a very good line. Considering that before he got injured, he had 8 and 8 in probably 20-30 minutes. Right?
Yes.
So that's a good sign already for Nurkic. So
That's a good sign for Nurkic, and that's a good sign for Enes Kanter.
yeah.
Because Enes Kanter got majority of the minutes today, or 30 minutes I think, but I don't think Enes Kanter will stay at that level. Maybe 24, 22, maybe at that level. But Kanter had a great game today, which is expected.
He has been having great games lately. I mean,
Yes.
not just today, but over the past few. It's like he was hearing the footsteps of Nurkic behind him, and he started to play really, really well. Although overall, he's been solid since the injury of Nurkic.
So you should not drop him. You should not drop Enes Kanter just because you saw Nurkic playing today. These players will get a downgrade, but it's not downgrade enough for them to be dropped.
Yeah.
So Nurkic, Kanter should still be in your rosters.
All right. And of course, talking about Portland Trailblazers today, Norm Powell started in true Norm Powell fashion.
Magic potion fashion.
Yeah, the magic of Norm Powell. Norm Powell's playing time. Today, Dame Lillard rested. So that means more playing time for Norm Powell. Although,
35
obviously,
minutes.
this is going to be a temporary situation. But how did you see the role of Norm Powell moving forward?
I like his game today. He was not shy at all in taking those shots, and I think he's gonna have a role with Portland because they would need a scorer off the bench.
Mhm.
I think he's coming off the bench, so I think that he would still have some value even off the bench. So better than what I expected. Maybe top 7.
Yeah.
8.
We kind of were saying that he might end up top 70, top 80 at the end of the year, and that was before he got traded. I think that was the worst case scenario when he was in Toronto, but now maybe that's the best case scenario.
No, the point is he's hot. He still is hot. He's still playing well. So whether it's in Toronto or in Portland, I think he's gonna have the same. He's still gonna perform. It's just that, of course, the usage is lower here in Portland. So that's why we bumped him a little bit down. But good news is it's not gonna be way down. So
Yeah, and if you look at Portland, I think he'll probably be the third best scorer there. Arguably the third best scorer. Many people might argue Carmelo is that guy, but Carmelo's older, so I think they would rely on Powell more than Carmelo. And today, just for perspective, today he got 22 points, 5 threes, 2 steals, and a block. Couple of rebounds and an assist, so not bad stat line for a first game. On the flip side, the player he was traded for, Gary Trent, also started today with the Raptors, but he only had 8 points and an empty stat line. I think he just had one steal. 8 points, 0 everything, even the threes, and 1 steal. Though, just to put things in perspective, they were against one of the better defensive teams in the league, which is Phoenix.
Oh, they were against Phoenix. Yeah.
And the Trailblazers were against the Orlando Magic. So,
But this is typical of what we expect of Guy. He had 35 minutes, then too much, except the 8 points. So that's the problem with his value. And as I said, I like the minutes. He's gonna start. He looks like he's the one who's gonna replace Norman Powell. So he'll have the ups and the downs.
yeah.
So I'll take it. I'm not dropping him. I'm not worried because I think he's just still feeling his way to the in the system of the team. But expect purely points and threes for Guy. Purely
and
points.
maybe a steal or 2.
Well, steals, are fluky stats anyway. Of course, he can have one or two.
He won't be as consistent.
But if you average it out, he won't have one a game.
Yeah.
Maybe 0.8, 0.9, something like that. But it's based purely threes and points.
All right.
That's his value.
All right. So those are the good news, at least for these players who were traded. At least Gary Trent was borderline drop before he got traded. So I think now, at least for those who were not able to drop him yet, at least he might give you some better value than just a streamer or a droppable player. All right.
Yes.
Let's move on to a player who was hit by the trades couple of days or yesterday, or the Orlando Magic. Many people were wondering about what the rotation would look like. Of course, today we were able to see maybe a glimpse, but a small glimpse of what it can be like, but not really the total big picture because players that were traded to them did not play yet.
Yes, they did not play yet. But the interesting thing is Khem Birch started. So Khem Birch started over Mo Bamba. I'm not saying that when Wendell Carter Jr. comes in, when Khem Birch will be the second center, but I think it might happen. Khem Birch might be the main backup of Wendell Carter Jr. and on the power forward position also.
So it's possible that. Do you think it's possible that Khem Birch starts at the power forward?
That is possible also, but I doubt that they will do that. I think given Wendell Carter Jr.'s skill set or stat set or his penchant for taking 3-pointers, he'll probably give maybe another player like Okeke. Maybe Okeke will be better with Wendell Carter Jr. than Khem Birch.
So this frontline situation of Orlando would probably be one of the, at least at the start, one of the messier ones because there are a lot of players in the front line who can play. And we talked about Khem Birch. I think Okeke is a frontline position player.
Okeke, Khem Birch,
Mo Bamba,
Wendell Carter Jr. and Otto Porter.
And Enes.
James
Enes is also and Otto Porter. So there are a lot of options in the front court. Who should be an ad?
Okay, let's assume that everybody will stay in Orlando.
Because just to put things in, just to give you an idea, today pretty much everyone in Orlando performed, right? Everyone, their starting five did well.
Well, there are only 8 players today, so you expect all of them.
Yeah, but no one really dominated, or it was a balanced type of game wherein everyone chipped in, right? So who is the must-add here?
Because Orlando is not built like Houston. They're built more like Minnesota in the sense they're like Minnesota without Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
And Anthony Edwards even. They don't even have a Malik Beasley. The way I see it. They don't have any of those players. They just have those Jaden McDaniels type of players. Mm-hmm. So if you're asking the front court position, Wendell Carter Jr. is still the guy. I am confident that they're going to try to develop for the rest of the season. So he should be added number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with Okeke and Khem Birch. Who you would choose among these two, it's up to you. But I think it's their upside will be similar. Khem Birch is the better fantasy player, but I think Okeke is going to get more minutes. So it's up to you. Do you want the minutes or do you want the production? Because Khem Birch will have games where he will not get much minutes. I am guessing he'll have 20-minute games, he'll have 5-minute games, he'll have 10-minute games. So it's gonna be hard to own him.
It's going to be all over the place, the minutes.
Yes. But Okeke, I think, will have consistent minutes. But the problem is, all he's gonna give you is 3-pointers and some steals. He's basically that way ever since in college. So that's the big man with 3-pointers. So those two. Otto Porter, I'm not sure because I think he's gonna be bought out. So that's a wait and see for me.
Mo Bamba is actually one of the popular ads among fantasy managers.
I love Mo Bamba in NBA 2K. And he's so good in 2K, by the way. Because, he is tall. He can shoot the 3-pointer in 2K. But in real life, I don't know why it doesn't somehow
translate to the real life.
And I'm not adding Mo Bamba. No. Pass.
All right. Okay. So those are your options when you want to add. Again, Okeke was a popular ad as well after today's game. But I
And it could
think
be.
you can lower your expectations a bit. For one, Okeke is a rookie and he hasn't been a big part of the rotation in Orlando. So teams will still struggle to defend him early on, like most rookies, how most rookies have been. So he will struggle at some point when teams have already adjusted to how he plays.
And he's not a fantasy friendly.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think I actually like Khem Birch. I was thinking of adding him in a lot of leagues. But that second thought that this might just be a very temporary ad and it would be hard to drop someone who has better potential than he has. So I think that was the challenge for me, that I wasn't able to add him in a couple of leagues. But yeah, he is. Khem Birch is probably the better fantasy player, and just like he showed today, I think he had 15, and 4 blocks. I think
2 steals, 2 blocks. I think, or 4 steals, for something like that.
Let me check.
Very well.
Birch, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Yes, 0 turnovers, 15 points, 14 rebounds. So that's in 36 minutes. All right. So that's the Orlando Magic situation in terms of who to add. Let's talk about the big risers. Robert Williams, as expected.
Yeah.
And this got a lot of managers excited.
But we have talked about Robert Williams. Nothing to add. He's very, very, very fantasy friendly. I'll just add that Andre Drummond might go to Boston. Met with Boston officials today. So every good game of Robert Williams, we have this at the back of our minds, praying that he doesn't go to Boston. But right now, if for the rest of the season, Robert Williams, this level is already at easily third round, I think. Level.
Top 40 at least.
Yes.
At least top 40, I think. If he continues to be like this, I think easy top 40.
He can. Just don't get a center sleep.
Just imagine how high a player like Chris Boucher is ranked. And imagine how Robert Williams will be if he starts. And he has the higher potential to start as long as Drummond doesn't get in.
And as good as his game was today, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 5 blocks. He did not play the last 9 minutes.
Yeah.
So he played 27 minutes today, or he was removed somewhere. So he could have played more.
Yeah.
He could have played more. So there's still a room to grow for him. Like he could have gotten double today.
What I love about Robert Williams is he's really not an offensive player. So you don't have to worry about teams adjusting to him defensively.
Yes.
He is a defensive player, and he would probably be a defensive juggernaut if he is starting, if he gets the minutes, right? And as he showed today. So definitely Robert Williams is a hold, guys. Don't drop him. Just kidding. I'm sure you're not gonna be dropping your Robert Williams, but yeah, you should be happy you own him. And those that don't, you should be sad. All right, moving on. John Collins. John Collins, like we said, has been playing really well since Nate McMillan took over Atlanta.
Yeah. John Collins.
Do you think Lou Williams would have any effect? No.
No. Lou Williams will not have any effect on John Collins. Right now, he's locked and loaded. He got 34 minutes today. One of the most.
He started like 7 out of 7 from the field.
Yes, the efficiency is still there. I don't think Gallinari is gonna affect him either. Capella, I think they found their roles with each other already. If you notice, John Collins is not rebounding a lot still, but at least the blocks are there. The blocks are already there. So he's top 20 right now. Who would have thought that John Collins would be top 20 right now?
He's currently ranked 16. closing into the first round value level.
Yes. And there, I hope the blocks will be consistent. That's just my hope with him. The rebounds will be there. Sometimes will be there. Sometimes won't be there. But if he continues to shoot this well or be this efficient, yeah, he might actually reach his draft position, which is 16, 15, 14, 16. So he won't be a bust. He will technically be not a bust.
Yeah. So there, John Collins. Kristaps Porzingis, back to our big riser for today. He scored 31 points, 18 rebounds, a block, and 3 steals with a couple of turnovers. Really good percentages. Well, field goal was 12 out of 28, but I guess you'll take that.
Yeah. With Kristaps, the thing is he's healthy. He's getting healthy. That is what one thing we're saying when we're talking about these players coming off an injury. When you see them get healthier, they'll play back to their old level, and that's what Kristaps is right now. Although tomorrow he might not play because it's a back-to-back.
Yeah.
But
and today Luka didn't play, so that might have been a big factor.
The problem with Kristaps is his field goal. So that is really something that is holding him back, because for a big man is not that bad, but 47 to 48% for a big man is not good.
Well, because he shoots threes. He had 3 today.
Yes. But
he's not your typical big man that plays inside.
It's funny because I traded my John Collins for Kristaps Porzingis last January.
Mm-hmm.
So
are you regretting that?
Yes, I did regret that. But right now, at least, Kristaps is making me, feel better. He's ranked 26, Collins is 16. So okay. Even if he missed a lot of games and I waited for him for a longer time, at least he's playing well enough. And I like that the blocks are back. He has to make it. It's 1.6 right now. It has to go to 2 blocks a game, and I'll be happy. I'll be happy even if I gave up that Collins.
All right, another center. Let's talk about another center, Miles Turner. Back to blocking shots. He had 7 today. Well, Miles Turner has been struggling over the past few games.
Yes.
Even the defensive stats have not been there or hasn't been consistent. The scoring is not there, but I don't think he would be able to score as much as he did when he started. But he has played well today.
My question to you is, he's number 9 overall, but we both
know it's not number 9.
Will not treat him as number 9. Right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's hard to trade a player who can block like this. But as I said, if your team has good blockers already, you can treat Turner as a first rounder when you offer him to other people, right? So I think you should take advantage of this ranking and get somebody that is more well-rounded, multi-category help for you guys. So that's my advice with Miles Turner, because it is number 9.
What type of player do you get?
The question is the Would you give up Miles? Would you get Chris Paul for Miles Turner? Yes, I will get Chris Paul for Miles Turner. I would.
But if Miles Turner was offered to you, would you be willing to give up Chris Paul?
Depends. Yes, that's my point. Right now, he's a blocks guy, but if you really need the blocks, then why not?
You can go for it, right?
Yeah. You can go for it.
Because that's another player who is way above the average draft position. Chris Paul, right? He's first round value, playing really well, but he is probably a legit first round value when it comes to stats, right?
You know who I'll say they might try? It's Jason Tatum. I mean,
he's been struggling.
well, he had a good game the last game. So he wait for a bad game here and there, and then when you offer Miles Turner, you say, hey, he's even ranked higher than Tatum, and Tatum has COVID issues or whatever. You need blocks. So if it aligns, like the manager of the other team that's owning Tatum needs blocks, you can swing that deal, and I will be happy with that. I'll be happy.
And you can tell them that Evan Fournier is coming in, and that could take some load off Jason Tatum. So that's another selling point for a Miles Turner trade. So you can try that out and let us know how that turns out. All right, 2 players from the Hornets are big risers. Malik Monk, I think he had 35 today.
Malik Monk, 32.5 pointers. Yeah,
32. 1 steal, 1 block, which are solid.
Malik Monk is different this year.
He's been consistent. He's been consistent at least.
I don't like Malik Monk, but he's better. He has found his role, and in Charlotte, without LaMelo, he's their main sixth man. So I think, who was the guy we're saying? Gary Trent, diba? Gary Trent is more expensive than Malik Monk, but I think right now they're almost similar. Dylan Brooke, these guys. I mean, Malik Monk is cheaper, so I like him more than those guys. So pick up your Malik Monks. But one player that I told Eric that should be mentioned in a big riser because he's been playing really, really well, and not just for today, but over the course of the season, and no one really expected this coming, is Terry Rozier, who is currently ranked 21 right now. Would you imagine? Who would have expected Terry Rozier to be up there ranked 21? The thing with Terry Rozier is he has surprisingly taken most of the secondary offensive ball handling and creating the offense role that LaMelo left. We know Devontae Graham's gonna be the primary ball handler and point guard, but we thought Gordon Hayward was gonna be the next guy, right? That's what everybody thought. But Hayward has been disappointing ever since LaMelo went down. It's been Rozier. So that's surprising. Will that continue? I don't know.
We've always doubted that if any of what Rozier is doing will continue. But today he had 11 assists, and that's a big plus for a player like Rozier, who is really known for the scoring and the threes and not really much for the assists.
So you don't doubt?
And I don't think he can maintain top 20. He's closing into top 20. I don't think that can happen, but I think top 40 is reasonable right now, as long as he doesn't get injured. Same role, I think he can do top 40.
Top 40, yes, he can do.
At best, I think top 30. That's the best he can do, probably.
Actually, I have a hot take. I think he can continue this rank. I think so. He had how many assists today? 11? That's not even part of his game. And he was already top 30.
That's not, yes.
And he's already top 30, 35, 38, whatever you want. He gives you not 11. He gives you 5, 6 assists every game. Yeah. He can continue to be this level.
If you look at it, he is ranked higher than a lot of players right now. Jason Tatum, Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
He is even higher than Sabonis. Kyrie Irving. Well, Kyrie hasn't been playing.
And Charlotte has not lost since LaMelo went down. So that's good. It's good for him. Fantasy value also.
Malcolm Brogdon, Jaylen Brown. These are players who have been hot early on but have fizzled out over the past few games lately. So yeah. Terry Rozier, if you have him, probably you picked him up before the season started, or he was your last pick. I think this is probably the biggest surprise right now. I think forget about the Jeremy Grants or whoever you're thinking about. Our biggest surprise, I think Rozier is the biggest surprise of this fantasy season, and he probably is the biggest sleeper this year.
Yes, correct.
All right, moving on to players we worry about. Let's just breeze through these players. Anthony Edwards has been After a hot streak, he has struggled, and tomorrow I think Malik Beasley is coming back, so that
Yes.
would be interesting to see how
You
that
have
would
to be
play out.
careful with Edwards, guys. I mean, even if he scores 30 tomorrow or 40 tomorrow, he takes 19 attempts a game. That's his average for the season. No? 19, 18 point something,
Mhm.
close to 19. And he's shooting 31%. 31% in 19 attempts. There's no way it's not going to drag your field goal down. So be careful with that. Be careful with that. And it's not going to improve. Usually, rookies don't improve as the season go along. They improve in their sophomore season, ever.
Mhm.
Because the shot selection, that's still there. They can't change that overnight. It will take discipline and lots of practice, lots of training. So I'm staying away. As Jeremy said, Malik Beasley is coming tomorrow.
Yep,
And
tomorrow. He's
Angelo
playing
Russell reportedly is next week.
tomorrow. Mhm.
So I'm be ready to drop. Be ready to drop Anthony Edwards.
That's how bad the level is. You have to be ready to drop, not even to try to
No,
sell
but-
him. No, you can't sell him now. It's hard to sell a player like Anthony Edwards,
Well,
actually.
he was in our big riser section
Yeah,
a couple
a
of
few.
times,
Yeah, a few
and we already said
weeks
that
ago.
sell him. As long as Beasley is still far away, sell him. Right now, the ship has sailed.
Yep.
No time to sell anymore.
It's going to be hard
Yeah.
to sell him.
Yeah.
Other players on our worrying list is Will Barton. And this one is going to be another really worrying player because of the acquisitions of Denver during the trade deadline.
Yes. And he has, I don't know, what is he, the fifth now in the pecking order, maybe sixth. And I just hope the good news is he has been giving some defensive stats, so that's good. But if he doesn't turn this around anytime soon, I will also drop. Now it's not the time to wait for players like Barton or Edwards to start to get hot again. I'll just drop. Somebody gets him, then good luck to you. I mean, right?
Yep. And of course, with Aaron Gordon coming in, that's another mouth to feed, as they say, right? So
Yeah.
he'll probably get more scoring opportunities as well. So worrying player again is Kevin Huerter. Is he a drop? I've seen
Yes.
him being dropped a lot of
Yes.
times, and the emerging player behind him, who was behind him was Bogdan Bogdanovic, who is creeping in back into the picture.
We said that it's not gonna be long before Bogdan starts over him, and today Bogdan started over him already.
Mm.
So with
Although, well, it might be deceiving. Huerter played 27 minutes, but it was a blowout, so I think that was a deceiving number.
I've owned Huerter since his rookie season. If he doesn't start, he's not worth holding on long term. He will have good games, but good luck finding those good games. I mean, go chase those good games. But for me, I'm not gonna do that. Right now, Bogdan's a starter. Bogdan should be owned. Huerter, the only thing silver lining for Huerter is the Andre Hunter.
Mhm.
He's out again, and there's some knee soreness supposedly. So that's very, very worrying.
Yep.
The knee soreness of the Andre Hunter.
Because he came ahead of schedule, right?
Yes,
He came
yes.
back ahead of schedule.
And
That's
he
why
got
it's worrying.
injected with PRP or something, that's why he came back early. And if this is a setback, then maybe Huerter can come back and get value. But if
Right.
Hunter is just a rest or just a few games out, then he's a drop for me. So it all depends on the Andre Hunter right now.
All right. That's it for worrying players, and we won't talk about the waiver wire specials because we had Khem Birch and Okeke,
Yeah.
which we talked about a while ago, and the rest you could check them out in the post on our Facebook page or the Facebook group. Let's talk about two players who have been asked a lot of times in different forums, and we call this segment "What Would You Do?" All right, so that's always the question. That's how the question starts during the forum, and that's how creative we were in thinking about this segment. So what would you do with these two players? First, let's talk about Chris Boucher. He did not start, as we said. Norm Powell started.
No, Gary Trent started.
Gary Trent started. Yeah, and he did 5 points today. He had 3 blocks at least.
But what is the jackpot stat? 11 minutes.
Yep, 11
Bingo.
minutes.
Bingo, 11 minutes. I did not expect him to start. I was hoping that Aaron Baines start actually, and they go big again. Because if Aaron Baines start, then the 14 minutes of Aaron Baines will be with the starters, and then all the backup center minutes will go to Boucher.
Mm-hmm.
They played small. They gave Siakam the starting center position, and Nick Nurse loves Aaron Baines. He gives him 15 minutes. Now what's left with Chris Boucher? 10 or 11 minutes. That's not going to cut it. So what would I do? What would you do? I don't know with you, but I'm still a hold because he gave me 3 blocks a day. So maybe he gives me 3 blocks every day. So then I'll hold. So right now I'm holding.
I think 14 team, definitely a hold. For 14 team above, definitely a hold. 12 team would depend on who will I replace him with. Okay, if there's really no one there that if you're gonna replace him with maybe a Khem Birch, I'd rather just not, right? Or Okeke, I'd rather just not. But these are the hotter rookies I get, hotter pickups, right?
Yes, agree.
If maybe you're gonna add him for gonna drop him for, let's say, a Gafford who might be Washington's next starter, definitely not, right? So
no.
in a 12 team, I'm not sure how deep the free agent pool is, considering that most likely you have 2 to 3 IL slots right there, and a lot of
I can give you the players in the I have a 12 team league.
All right.
Ingles, Huerter, Justin Holiday, your favorite Blake Griffin, Dylan Brooks, Danny Green
at 15 today.
Danny Green, Josh Hart. So there's some good players here.
Yeah.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker. These are the main Lou Dort. These are the main guys I think that you may think.
I might.
Would
if I am, maybe Danny Green.
Danny Green. Okay.
And if you're worried about blocks, at least Danny Green can sometimes give you a block or 2. Lou Dort, no. Who else are there after Lou Dort?
Josh Hart, Huerter, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Ingles.
Nah.
Batum.
I think Danny Green is the only guy I can probably I'll probably drop him for. The rest, I might not risk it unless, of course, if I drop him, I won't get him back. That's for sure, right? So, might as well pick someone who is.
Well, we're not sure about that right now, but
in a 12 team, yeah, well, maybe. But I think I don't think I would. I don't think I would. In a 12 team league, there's probably one out of 12 who will probably pick him up. Right, that's for sure.
My thing is I have to wait for 1 or 2 more games. If it's 12, 13, 11 minutes again, that's a pattern. As I said, I keep on saying that thing. If there's 3 games already of that's a pattern. Then I drop already.
I think right now what the use of Boucher is probably how players like Claxton are being used. He's a specialist, defensive specialist. You just keep him for the blocks.
Yeah.
Don't expect other things because he had 3 today on 11 minutes. So that's good enough, right? To keep him, I guess, if you need blocks. All right, another player that's been asked a lot of times is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Is
you go
this
first.
guy a drop?
You go first.
This one is more of where you are in the standings, right? It's more of, can you afford to keep him? Of course, if you have an IL slot, definitely hold him there until an official timetable is given. But if he is holding a spot in your roster and you are desperate for a player, try to trade him first. I'm sure there's some managers who would want him there. If you've exhausted that option, then I guess you can move on.
Yeah, I basically agree. There was someone, Luigi Custodio, one of our followers, that was asking about this, and I told him he's number two. So I'm gonna answer this in his perspective as number 2 team in a 12-team league.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a bye. You want to go for the bye, right? I don't exactly know how many games ahead he is of the number 3 team, but he's panicking because he's losing this week 4 or 5. But I told him 4 or 5 is not a bad loss.
Yep. And
I'm
4
okay.
5 is, well, maybe you should just look at the number 3 team. How is he doing? Because if he's winning 5-4 and you're up by 2-3 games, then that's still fine, right?
That's still fine. That's my point. I mean, week 13 is about to be done already. So just finish week 13. Let's see what the standings are. And then week 14, he has Luka, he has Harden. So I told him, I'm not worried. I think you can hold on to SGA. But because it's another manager's team, I'm wary of giving these advices, right? Because they might think their panic level is different if it's your team. But me, I am not gonna drop him, especially if you're number 2. You have Luka, you have Harden, he even has Beal. I don't know how that happened, but he has all these players. I'm not dropping him. The problem is they don't have an IL spot, so that's a tricky thing.
Yeah, I think he did have an IL spot.
The league doesn't have an IL spot, so. Yeah. But I'm still not dropping until I see that my number 2 seed is in danger. Then I will drop and I will pick up somebody else, and then let's see.
Yep. So there, what would you do segment? I have one last player, maybe just quick.
Yeah.
LeBron James would be out 4 to 6 weeks as reported. What would you do?
The answer to that question is, do you believe it?
I think 4 weeks is realistic. 6 weeks is too long. I think it would extend to 6 weeks if the Lakers are in danger of missing out on the playoffs or they continue losing for some reason. They won today, so that's good news. But I don't think he'll be out 6 weeks.
I agree. I'm not a medical person, so let's take it for whatever it is. But I think 4 weeks is still the longest he's going to be out.
Yeah. So is he a hold?
Well, if your playoff starts on week 18, he's a hold. He's a hold. If your playoff ends in week 17 or 18, then you should drop him right now. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
So
there are leagues with week 16 to 18 playoffs. So he's a drop there.
All right. So yeah, that's it. That's a lengthy the daily fantasy quickie for today, but really very interesting topics as well. So yep, that's it. If you missed it out, if you haven't heard, we released the weekly episode. It's about collecting sports memorabilia. It's very, very interesting topic that made me want to get myself one. If it's not just too expensive right now, but yeah, check them out. It's with Hall of Fame Authentics. And you could check out their story and check out some of the things we talked about in their weekly episode already up on Spotify. We'll upload the YouTube version probably tomorrow. All right, that's it for Daily Fantasy Quickie. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.